if you want to make a difference one quilt at a time, here's your opportunity. Hi everyone, it's Mary from Joyful and Mary Quilting, and today I want to talk about something a little different for our quilting tips video. A documentary, a quilting documentary. It's called The Quilters and it's available now on Netflix. But before you think, do I really need another streaming service just to watch a 32-minute film? Hear me out. I believe this is something every quilter and really every human with a heart should watch. I didn't have Netflix before this, and I really didn't even plan on getting it. But I saw the buzz online on Facebook groups, YouTube channels, TikTok, and I was really curious. So I signed up. And you know what? I don't regret it for a second. Why? Because the Quilters reminded me of the healing power behind this craft and how even in the most unlikely places, quilting brings joy, purpose, and transformation. The film takes us into a maximum security men's prison in Missouri where inmates work full-time making birthday quilts for children in foster care. It's part of a restorative justice initiative, and these men have made over 2,000 quilts just for kids in the surrounding areas. To even be in the quilting group, they must have perfect behavior, no write-ups, no violations. And they work from 7:30 in the morning until 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. They work 5 days a week. They design, cut, sew, and iron quilts for children they'll never meet. When one inmate named Chill steps into the quilting space, he says something that was really important. He said, "I leave my tough guy image at the door." In that room, he's not a prisoner. He's a quilter. He's a creator. He's a man trying to give something beautiful to someone else. Another inmate's name is Potter. Potter is brand new to quilting, but you know what? He fits in right away. His joy is infectious. And then there's Fred. Fred is a talented quilter. He's serving a life sentence. Fred is struggling to change in spite of his past. It's only one episode, just 32 minutes, but it's powerful and you can watch and rewatch. This brought back memories for me, very personal ones, and I want to share those with you. Years ago, I had the privilege of volunteering at a women's correctional center near my home. I helped them create quilts for Project Linus. And just like in the documentary, I saw something amazing happen. These women were separated from their families, their children, and their friends, but when they quilted, something shifted. They weren't just inmates anymore. They were mothers, daughters, artists. But then the program ended and we weren't able to do it anymore. There was a change in leadership and it meant no more classes, no more creative space. And that's when my dear friend Cheryl and I started dreaming. We do a lot of that. We came up with a program we called the Here's a Hug Initiative. We thought, what if we could help the moms in that facility give their children a gift? A handmade quilt, a fleece blanket, an Afghan, a hug they could send through the mail. So we launched Here's a Hug. We worked with Project Linus, and after a lot of back and forth with the assistant warden at the correctional facility, we were approved to present the project in person. We didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. We walked into an auditorium that day with arms full of quilts. We were really nervous, but we were really hopeful. I'm telling you, at first it was really kind of awkward. Some of the moms skipped the meeting because there was a season finale of a favorite TV show at the same time, so they didn't want to come. But for those who stayed, that changed us forever. We told them, we want to help you give your children a long-distance hug this Christmas. And suddenly, they transformed. They started telling us stories about their kids. Their hands went up. They were laughing. They were crying. We gave them an order form where they filled out the favorite color, favorite animal, their child's age, interests, even sports teams, cartoon characters. And as they were filling those out, that's when the conversation just got so intense. One mom said she'd never been able to give her kids anything more than a handmade card. Another asked for help on her form because she said, I just want to make sure I get it just right. One woman handed me her form and hugged me tightly, and she said, "You are an angel sent to us." Oh my gosh, it was amazing. We thought we'd get about 50 requests for blankets. We got 776. Oh my gosh, we got to the car, we were laughing, we didn't know what to do. We were excited, we were nervous, we were scared, and we were really wondering if we could fulfill this order. But we got to work. We recruited volunteers from churches, schools, sewing circles, and hundreds of Project Linus volunteers, and we all came together. Yes, we made 776 blankets, quilts, Afghans, fleece blankets. They were mostly quilts. Every single one was tailored to match a child's wish. We returned to the prison that November. Originally, we had met with them in July, and the moms gathered together again, but this time we were in the gym. There were benches along the wall, and they were all lined up waiting for their names to be called. When their name was called, they came to one of the tables, and they saw the finished blankets. They hugged their child's quilt. They wrote notes on cards that read, "Here's a hug," and friends, it was emotional. I want to share a couple of these personal stories from the presentation, and they really touch me even now. One mom, Adrina, gathered 4 blankets made for her grandchildren in her arms, and she held them. She hadn't even met the youngest grandchild. She held them tight, and she said to me, "These make me feel closer to them. I've missed a lot of Christmases, but now they'll get something from their grandma. Maybe they won't forget me." There was another mom, her name was Marla, and she held up the quilts made for her teenage daughters. One had a musical theme, the other was earth tones, and she smiled and she said, "I couldn't have done any better myself. Last Christmas was so hard, but these blankets will make them feel like I'm there just a little bit." Can you imagine what that means to a child, to feel a mother's love even from behind those prison walls? We heard thank you from every corner of the room. The moms kissed their blankets, they hugged their blankets, some wrapped them around their shoulders before they handed them back to us to be mailed, and many had trouble letting them go. And you know what? It touched us just as deeply. What a privilege. The assistant warden later told us, "Here's a hug fits our mission. It helps moms stay connected to their families." And to be honest, it really wasn't easy. We had to raise nearly $2,700 for postage just to send out the blankets. We didn't know that they couldn't just give them to the children. We had to mail them to the children. But we did it. Every single blanket was mailed, and my basement and my hallway and my entryway was filled with those boxes before we loaded them on the truck and took them to the post office. So, if The Quilters on Netflix moved you, how about turning interest into action? If you've ever wondered how you can serve through your quilting, or if you want to make a difference one quilt at a time, here's your opportunity. It's not easy. There are a lot of hoops to jump through, but it's so worth it if you're able to get your foot in the door. Your guild, your sewing group, your church group, your neighborhood, they can all be part of a similar initiative. Contact a correctional facility. Ask what's possible. Because quilting isn't just about fabric. It's about connection. It's about love. It's about hope. It's about transformation, and it is about joy. So yes, I recommend watching The Quilters. I didn't have a Netflix subscription, as I said, before the show, and I didn't have any plans to get one. But after hearing about the documentary, anything called The Quilters, I decided this needs to be a part of my quilting budget. I spend money on fabric, thread, tools, why not a little inspiration? Quilting to me is not just a hobby, it is a whole body experience. It sharpens our minds as we learn new skills. It fills our hearts with love when we give a quilt away. And you know what? It nourishes our souls as we pour ourselves into one quilt after another, stitch by stitch, changing lives, including our own, in the process. As always, I'm trying to be joyful, but I will always be merry. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. If you're interested in the quilt that's hanging behind me, it's called our Oasis quilt. It's available in our Etsy store. The link is included in the description.